Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Historical Humans YouTube channel. As a part of our Historical Humans Heritage series, the Triple H, we decided to take a deep dive into some of the heritage that we were talking about. So today we decided to actually look at the UNESCO list and went with probably one of the most prominent ones of Mexican origin, which is the pre-Hispanic city of Chichen Itza.
Yep. Yes. Chichen Itza was one of the great Mayan cities in the Yucatan, and it's been around for about 1,000 years. It's very famous for its pyramids and its central ball court, both of which are absolutely monumental. We do love them.
Yeah, and some of the more notable things about Chichen Itza and why it's listed on the UNESCO World Heritage Site is primarily because it's a great monument to the Mayan and Toltec traditions which developed in this region that culminated in that large scale monumental architecture, which includes the Temple of Kulkan and the Temple of the Warriors, the Great Ball Court, which had their ceremonial ball game in it. And they're just great masterpieces of pre Columbian Mesoamerican architecture, both because of their size, but also the refinement of the construction, the splendor of their sculpted decorations. I mean, these buildings are intricately carved and constructed and built, and they're massive. Um,
Yes,
uh,
yeah. These things are the equivalent of ancient skyscrapers, and every step on the way up is filled with ornamentation. Just you just don't see people design buildings like this anymore, and that's not because we've given up, building temples.
yeah, it's really interesting. And in this region, there was a lot of conquests. So you saw the blending of the Maya and Toltec. You started seeing the borrowing of a lot of these symbols, like you talk about the gods that are represented in the carvings and the intricacies of the designs. It's all really, really interesting, and that's actually part of the reason why it's listed. I mean, on the UNESCO website here, it lists the three reasons. The first of which was the monuments. The second of which is the monuments of Chichen Itza exerted a large influence throughout the entire Yucatan cultural zone for about 500 years, from the 10th century to the 15th century. And it's also one of the most important archaeological vestiges of the civilizations. And
Yeah,
like anything, it experienced a lot of deterioration from the point it was abandoned until modern day.
yeah, and it has undergone a decent amount of reconstruction in order to restore it to the full square top step temples that we see and know today. But I don't think that it detracts from it at all. If anything, it helps show us what these Mayans intended us to see when we came, if we were to come here. And all I can say is one of the more overlooked parts of it that does get a brief mention at in their description of all the wonderful things here at Chichen Itza is Chichen Itza features a Zompantli, which I didn't know they did. Any place that has a Zompantli is one that probably deserves to be on the World Heritage list. A Zompantli is a wall of human skulls, and it is the danse macabre art of the Western Hemisphere, and I am here for it.
Yeah, the Mayans definitely like their imagery and like their designs. And the interesting thing, too, is one of the things that I think we should highlight is most, if not all, countries have some level of protection to these heritage sites. In Mexico, they specifically have a law that was passed in 1972 called the Federal Law on Monuments and Archaeological, Artistic, and Historic Zones. And it was declared an archaeological monument by presidential decree in 1986. So what that means is the site is protected. It has got codified laws that will prevent it from being destroyed. So it's nice to see that these sites are being fully protected like that.
Yeah, especially for a site like Chichen Itza, which is open to tourism every day of the year and features some 3,500 people on average every day. So this is a place that is facing constant wear and tear just from the sheer human interest in its existence.
Actually, one of the reasons we're talking about it today and that sparked this whole historic heritage series was the reacts we did a couple of weeks ago, where a woman decided to climb the steps of Chichen Itza and perform some TikTok dances, much to the dismay of many of the locals.
Dismay. I don't think that was dismay. This was the December 3rd reacts, and they were not dismayed. Dismay is sadness. They got aggressive. the this was about two steps short of mob justice.
Yeah, they were punching her, pulling her hair, throwing stuff at her, dumping
Yeah,
water. They
yeah.
they viciously attacked the woman,
It
but
was it was it, I wouldn't say viciously attacked.
it was still
More like
vicious,
bruised
although
her on the way
justified.
out. They bruised her on the way out.
But it's interesting too because the site has a lot of long term research being done and a lot of long term activities, which includes investigation, conservation, thematic interpretation, administration, operation of the site. And it's basically to coordinate all the activities because while this site has began its excavation in what 1841 is when the excavations first started. The site's
So
been consistently excavated at some locations, and even in the nearby region, there's a ton of Mayan archaeology that's being conducted because they had these cities, these monuments, and they were all interconnected and all like sprawling out through this region.
and one of the uh, one of the sad things though is with all this history, with all this you know highly important cultural artifacts here, um, there's just not the personnel to perform the what's the word the monitoring necessary for long-term conservation. Oh, and so much so that there's not even any emergency plan in place for in the event that a natural disaster causes severe and immediate damage to the site. There just hasn't been the personnel to put together that sort of preparation, and that is deeply unfortunate, and it leaves the site vulnerable to worst case scenarios, which hopefully will never happen. But it's always a little bit sad to see that we don't have a plan to recover, restore, or protect these in the event the ground opens up.
At least in this case, I know in certain other places, they have the mitigation measures in place, and some of them, like one of our upcoming ones in the next few weeks, have completely been demolished and rebuilt. But we will get to that at a later point. But I think that's a good point to end today's episode here because we're just doing a brief overview of some of the coolest places on this list. And this is one of the lowest hanging fruits. So we start off easy and we'll just dive in and get some interesting ones.
Yeah, you get to these are good places to go see.
But if you enjoyed today's video, leave a like down below. Drop a comment if there's a topic you would like us to discuss. Subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. And stay tuned. We got a lot more fun videos coming up for the rest of December. Thank you guys for watching.